In this episode, you'll learn why contemplating death is the fastest way to start truly living, and how your awareness of mortality creates urgency without anxiety. Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping entrepreneurs be free from anxiety, stress, and tension through balancing emotions and consciousness expansion. Here's 3 things you'll discover today. Number 1, why ancient warriors meditated on death before every battle. Number 2, how the awareness, I will die, clarifies what actually matters. And number 3, the practice, living each day as if you have both forever and no time at all. The first point, the ancient warriors meditating on death before battle. What does this mean, and how could it ever relate to your life right now? And it's really an essence of saying, I'm not going to be half in and half out. I'm going to really do this thing. What precedes that form of confidence and awareness is clarity around what actually resonates with you. Meaning, the ancient warriors, they were fully aligned with battle at that time. That's why they could commit themselves and meditate on death, and really, because their entire identity was wrapped around being a warrior. So in your life, what I'm saying to you right now is, what is your identity currently? And does that identity have new layers to expand to? Because you don't necessarily want to go into battle and think about death if you're not fully committed. Now, when you find that commitment in yourself, when you feel that you really care about something, then contemplate death. For example, your parents, maybe. If you have a good relationship with your parents, contemplate the death of a loved one. Really consider that. Feel it. It's definitely not easy. And you don't want to take it too seriously and propel yourself into a form of fear. What you want to do is use the fact of life is going on and on. Decay is natural, and impermanence is just a organic structure of reality. So there's a way that we can all learn by really sitting with those harder, sort of contemplative ideas. Now, contemplation isn't like, or meditation, contemplation, it's really about embodying what matters most to you. That's the biggest part of this entire point. When you figure out what you truly are meant to do, continuously unravel and question, like, who am I? And how am I supposed to move through this world? Surrender to that, and then kind of figure out what you love to do, right? That the things that are healthy for you. And double down on everything that your heart screams yes for. As you do that, then you'll really get to this point where you can meditate on death and be empowered by that. But there's definitely work that precedes getting to this point where you're meditating on death and it's helping you. Because for a lot of people, they are so wrapped in their identity that the sort of even consideration of death throws them into a vortex of what if, fear, anxiety, doubt, and insecurity. But when you consider that life is organically uncertain, that the governance, the unseen laws of the universe are uncertainty. Like, you need to walk each day through uncertainty with faith that somehow, some way, you are taken care of. And that you can build that through meditation. But I guess my tie-in there is, death can empower you. The facts of life can empower you. But the universe is raw, extraordinarily intelligent, and it will really play with your ego. It'll communicate to you through synchronicity. I guess the importance of meditation on this is that you'll have the stillness to notice the synchronicity and learn rather than be caught in the ego. So that's really everything in relationship to. I know I didn't perfectly zoom in on the ancient warriors, but if we look at them, if make it more practical for the ancient warriors, they want to go out there and leave everything on the table. You can't be a warrior out in the field and be thinking in line with fear. You're not going to be the best warrior doing that. So, like even when I do jujitsu, I I let go of this insecurity. There's none. It's just if someone is better jujitsu than me, then I'm going to do. I'm going to be. I'm there. And if not, then I'm still same thing. I'm there. And it's just this full commitment to, hey, I'm present in the moment without all of this baggage. Eh, flow states come in and out. So, point number 2, how the awareness I will die clarifies what actually matters. To me, it seems sort of like a cutting through the nonsense. Because in life, we have so much. If you really consider all the details and variables of human life today, there are so many little things that people can get caught in. And then your life. I'll use a metaphor to explain what I'm about to say better. But your life, if you have all the small things and you're just doing all the small things, but none of the big things, your life's not going to pan out. I'm going to say that. When you do the big things, then you have space for the small things. But if you do it the opposite way around, it doesn't work that way. And to draw this example physically, you could take a cup, and in that cup, you could put all the small pieces of sand first, and then the big stuff. And there's only so much room, you won't be able to fit everything. But if you put the big stuff in first, and then the small stuff, all of the small things settle in around the bigger stones. And for imagery, you could look at like a concrete wall where they have the big rocks, but then surrounded by concrete. Or even a tattoo, right? You have the tattoo, and then you have the background filler if someone has a full sleeve or something. So the awareness of, hey, I will die puts you into a place of considering the big things. When you're taking that step back to view your life and the world, not just your life, but everything bigger than you, relationships, connections, opportunities, interest, moments, energy. When you consider all of that, you process it via intuition, then you really inevitably start to see, oh, okay, these are the connections. These are the things that I can do. This is where I'm meant to work. Opportunity. And naturally, life is good. Life gets good when you consider the hard things. Easier said than done. It definitely is. It can be so painful, extraordinarily painful to consider a dog dying, a loved one leaving, someone else dying. But you don't sit there. You just consider it. You realize, well, that's a thought. It also will happen one day. Something may happen. I'm not saying you'll get bad things will happen. I'm just saying there are certain things which are inevitable. You really process that, and you learn to accept what hurts, and then the pain, the energy of hurt actually changes. And it hard enough, but it does something good for your heart. It's tough, but it helps your heart. And it actually, when your heart is helped, then your life is helped, because as within, as without, and as above, as below. So what your heart is doing is what is around you in every direction. And it's a ultimate sort of revelation to see that change starts within. That all the external stuff actually happens from within first. Now, you cannot force nor time everything. So there's this trust and faith that requires for, how do I put it? seeing that you will die puts you into a state of, oh man, I don't control everything. And that's the same place where the magic resides, is in this hard but amazing ability to work with uncertainty. If you really think about it, Jesus walking on water is a great example because it's like you see the world to be, you can plan, but you can't predict everything. And in the water on top, you can see, but then below, you can't see what's below water. And the fact that he somehow, some way, right, had this, could walk on water, first of all, there's the physics of it, but there's also the the ability to just somehow, the uncertainty, it didn't get him. And it is, right? What does he say when his disciple sinks? He says, "Oh, you of little faith." And so he's hinting that the faith, how else could he walk on water? It has definitely a correlation to faith. And what we're drawing on there is really, there is a fork in the road when you say, I will die. You are kind of faced with, oh, I will die, or what can I live for? Right? What can I live for? And that's really part of the essence of Christ, is what makes a human actually fully alive. And that is, if you really look at the words, there's so much hinting at you aren't what is. It's what is within you that is. So there are parts of us which we can divide with logic, but it's ultimately deeper than logic and words, hence parables and metaphors. There's a reading between the lines required for the deepest work to occur. And honestly, let's hop to point number 3, the practice. Living each day as if you have both forever and no time at all. Yeah. The paradoxical nature of a lot of these parables and metaphors. It's, they say that the eternal Tao is not the Tao which can be spoken. And living each day as if you have both forever and no time at all, what could that possibly mean? Like, how could that be helpful to you? Well, it really means that you know that there are certain things that make you love life. And when you do those things, time itself warps. And that's a sign. It's a sign that you're flowing with the rhythm, the cadence of the unseen. That is, in other words, faith. So when you find yourself in flow states, states where time warps, you also self reflect. So you bring yourself back into time for a balanced, harmonious play. And it's this grounding, but it's also this freedom. You know? When you do that, the world starts to work for you. So you kind of need to not plan too much, but definitely have clarity around what makes your days worthwhile. And then you'll find yourself in situations where your days are maybe mechanical and it feels like you have forever. And it's just, you're in a certain season. Sometimes it feels slow. If you feel you have forever, just you got to learn to mellow down, in the stage and season that you're at. And so practically, what that means is you stop anxiety and overwhelm and mental resistance through a healthy lifestyle. If you're in a place that you don't necessarily know or want to be, well, then do everything you can to enjoy being there. And when you do that, you'll see that inevitably it'll change. You'll be in a new season. And when that happens, you can gather all those insights from the tough phase and bring them with you. When you do this, this is, in other words, in kind of like a story format, that's the alchemy of your heart. When you process and you feel deeply and you consider, it's like part of it is reflection, part of it is action, part of it is change, and then part of it is letting go and surrendering. Part of it is devotion, part of it is understanding, part of it is space, part of it is energy, emanations, vibrations, part of it's simplicity and structure and practicality and affection, compassion, consideration. You are called to be dynamic, is pretty much what I'm saying, right? How do you be dynamic? Your intuition can process millions of bits of information simultaneously. You need to create a state where you learn how to be connected to your intuition. Only way you can do this is through cleansing your heart. Your intuition will eat you alive when your heart is not pure. And that's because your intuition is right. And that's because your unpure heart created a life where the things which are real in it are treacherous. And that's hard to heal here. It's not your fault. It's the nature of becoming. It's the nature of the game. You're powerful. But we have to do this to ourselves to learn to see that it's all within. And now, as the waking up is happening, it's still challenging, very challenging. Wouldn't say it's easy at all. But a little things move faster, and maybe you learned faster, right? And that learning continuously compounds, like I said before. So that vibration and emanation of the learning gets to a point where it really is accelerated. And it's like all engines are. So I know it's a balance. And I feel I would be a fool to give you step by step by step. It's not like that. I'm speaking to you in a manner in which I'm going to make you work. You have to work. And your heart is your compass. So to really get the fruit, the insights, do the work. And practically I'll list off, let me take like 30 seconds, 60 seconds, list off some things. Early bedtime, journaling. Morning, 5 things you're grateful for. Bedtime, 5 things you're grateful for. Maybe read one of the books. You don't need to read the books, but Gita, Bible, other books. Do your thing. Meditate and breathe. Don't just listen to one of these things I'm saying, do all of them. Exercise, healthy food, play around, care for yourself, self reflect. Ask yourself at the end of the day what was smooth about today and what was maybe a little challenging. Show that you care for your loved ones, and find something that you can really work at, whatever it may be, something that interests you. Treat others as you'd like to be treated, right? Those are a lot of fundamentals, If you do all of those, things will be smooth, and I promise you that. I mean, you'll still have hiccups, actually. So, really, thank you so much for listening. I'm just going to skip the recap. New episodes are out Monday, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Share this with a friend if you'd like. I would appreciate it. Thank you, genuinely.